Alright, so I am this old orc. Those of you who know me have seen me around for a while. I started on Art of Rust about a year ago-ish, somewhere in there. And my primary duties are fireworks, because that's what I kind of got known for. So, yeah, I have actually avoided Rust for like 10 years because of the PvP, but then I started watching like other streamers. And one time I dozed off, and apparently the streamer I was watching also played Rust, and it was actually a Rust Kingdoms event. So I was like, wait a minute, you can do more than just kill each other in Rust? And it was kind of downhill from there, slides straight to Art of Rust through a couple of, well, there was a private server in the way, because I started out with some of Willjam's servers, playing PvP there, just to get the full experience, and then I ended up finding a low population server that was privately owned by this dude, who apparently did fireworks shows at the end of each monthly wipe. And so he's the one I learned it from. That was the original method I learned, which was this one to my left. We'll be going over that today. We'll also be going over another method I discovered last wipe. It's still kind of in development, but it's what I've been primarily using the last several weeks. And the story behind that is that about a month ago, in the middle of last wipe, Facepunch discovered an exploit that involved the memory cells. Oh, we got an incoming. Who is that?
That's Rocky.
Cool, cool.
I know him by his Christmas hat.
Okay.
Yeah, it's me!
Yeah. Welcome, welcome.
Hello!
Hello! I was just
Very much on theme with the season, you know.
Yeah, holidays.
I like Christmas, let me be!
Yeah, it's cool, We don't discriminate here. So yeah, I was just explaining that I have two methods of controlling fireworks right now. The one I originally learned here to my left, and this one I developed last wipe, when Facepunch discovered an exploit involving the memory cells and nerfed them. So the memory cells, which you'll see over here, I have demonstrations back here, you'll see those. Memory cell is crucial to this one, but not to this one. So when the memory cell is not working, I had to figure out another way of doing it, what I do. And that'll be over here. And that's why it's all hand-drawn notes and stuff over here that I pulled over from last wipe. Did we have somebody die? Firegum! We've lost Firegum. Okay. I'm sure he'll be back. And he was here for the last class, so hopefully he'll be back soon. So, you'll look around this build right now. Let's give you a quick tour of what I've done here. For those of you who just arrived, there's food back here in this fridge, and this is the TC you'll need to authorize yourself on in order to play with the bits. All the basic workstations are back here if you happen to need them. Okay, so I have a few demonstration areas here to show you the basics, the fundamentals of fireworks and how they work, and some of the electronic pieces as well. You'll also see some circuits I've been working on, like this one right here, which is a scoring system. Hold on one second while I get some of my tools sorted. Basically, the premise here is you push a button and it counts the score. It also sets off igniters in the back. You'll see. There's an antenna here because I've experimented with controlling it remotely. And as soon as you get to the third one, it'll just sort of stop, but it'll keep counting. And the green button resets it. Yeah, and this is actually, if you'll note, you look at, this is my first method over here on at its core that I adapted slightly. So it is the core circuits are adaptable to other applications, is the point I'm making here. So what you're learning here doesn't have to be about fireworks. If you want to do fireworks, cool. If you don't, there are other things you can do with it. And let's see. All right, let me get some boomers going. Yeah, so, okay. On a fundamental level, fireworks are a placeable item in Rust. And you do have to purchase 3 separate small add-ons in order to craft them yourself. But they can be ignited with, of course, any fire source, which includes, as I've discovered, incendiary ammo, flamethrowers, of course, and the basic torch you get on spawn. You just gotta light the torch and whack the thing, it'll light. But something that you may not know is that this button has no power source going into it. But if you press it, there's just enough juice that comes through, just like redstone. Anyone who's played Minecraft, redstone switches will throw off just enough power to do some things. The switch here also throws off just enough to light an igniter. Fireworks will not set each other off just by being on in the vicinity. Someone want to push the button? Go ahead. The first one we set off was a volcano, they call them. These two are called boomers. And this is primarily the aerial fireworks. Yep. These are Roman candles. Go ahead, somebody push the button. Now this slightly larger one is a champagne boomer. If someone would like to push the button, you can see what that one does. And this last type of firework is called a pattern boomer. And you'll see what that does. Go ahead and push the button. Anyone can do it. What's special about this one is you can actually create your own patterns with it. I'll let you play with those, but there are some peculiarities with those. You need more than TC access to play with them in this zone. But they can be very fun. They usually package the boomers separate from the candles and volcanoes, and the pattern boomers are a separate add-on too. So if you do get into this, expect to spend a little bit of money if you want to craft them yourself. Okay, so over here, anyone who's seen my bases knows that it's pretty much a flat surface covered in these honeycombs like this.
Hey, Zero.
Hey, Zero. We got more? Come on over. Now, simply put, you can just sort of stack a few in the box and then push the button. And each cell that I make has a number of them inside. And all of them within range of the igniter will all get lit. There's a little delay on the fuse, and then a nice little combination of effects is always visually pleasing. You can choose to go random or plan ahead, do specific colors. It's all up to you. But you can see how well they come across even in the daytime. Okay. So let's move over here. You can build the same thing inside triangle foundations like this too. And if you place a igniter, you'll notice that it has a range that's roughly the size of a square foundation. So what we're going to do here is show you a principle of the igniters. I'm going to place a boomer here, another boomer here, another boomer here. Now, the question to the class is, how many of these 3 boomers are going to go off when we hit that button? I think Firegump already knows, because he was here for the first class.
Is it the igniter in the middle?
Yeah, the igniter here at the apex of the corner is the one, but if you, the igniter range is well beyond these walls to the full extent of this circular triangle bit. So it'll throw sparks all the way through here. But when you hit that button, you'll see what happens. It's a mechanic that they don't really explain about the igniters. Igniters need to have line of sight. Okay, that's another principle we'll go over in a second. I need to have line of sight to the base of the boomer in order to work. So you'll see I'll compact...
When you place it... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just... Is it... When you place it, does it, like, bounce off the walls? Like that circle of... it shows?
It'll show the full circle.
Or does it go through the walls? That's interesting.
Yeah, the sparks will not go through the walls, but you'll see them kind of like render through the walls a bit, so it gets a little confusing. But the spark,
Okay.
yeah, the igniter itself has to have line of sight to the base.
So the wall blocks.
Yes, exactly.
Line of sight,
And this is a quarter wall; it's not even a half wall. Here, hit it again, and you'll see it'll ignite the one down in there and the one up top of the wall, because it has line of sight to the base of it.
Ah. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good to know.
That's how I control, in tight spaces like this, which ones go off when. And that's an important thing to know, because it used to be that you could crash the server by setting off too many at once. And people did this, and got banned on, from the entire game, all servers, by Facepunch for doing it. So, don't do that. But also, they've added a feature now, where the servers will stop rendering the fireworks after a certain number. For most servers, that number is 25. So if you drop down 26 fireworks, light them all, only 25 will shoot off, and the 26th will wait until the first 25 are done, and then it'll go. But it'll still have the fuse lit to let you know that it's in the queue, waiting for its turn. So that's something to keep in mind when you do this. It is possible to overload this. It used to be possible to overload the servers, and if you have a particular effect in mind, don't go over too many. Don't go too many. That's the important point. Make sense? That's some of the basic mechanics here.
Is that 25 at a time?
Yes,
Or, like,
throughout.
if you have a series.
That's 25 at a time throughout the server.
like
So if someone else,
time.
if someone else fires off somewhere else on the island, it's going to affect your queue. So I've had that problem on PvP servers, vanilla servers, where people were trolling us by setting off fireworks nearby, and it messed up the show a little bit. So it can happen. And that's just to keep the server from crashing. Because it does add a lot of overhead both to the server and to each person's individual client to have the fireworks going. You good? Good, good. Yeah. Thought I saw a shrug over there, Rokita.
Oh,
Yeah.
Me? What?
Oh, you shrugged. I just wouldn't know if you had a question or something. You just... That's okay.
Just because of the
Talking about how he's
conversation.
Okay. Yeah, don't be naughty.
Attention to the class.
Yeah. Okay.
I maybe did the crashing an entire server once.
Yeah.
Sorry for
Oh, okay. You did that, huh?
I mean, it wasn't my idea.
Okay.
I didn't have the fireworks part at the time. There was just a guy that
Joined in.
came at me and said, "Hey, you wanna fuck with these guys?" I was like, "Yeah," and they helped me out then.
Oh no.
And we did that.
Okay. Well, they kind of fixed that by capping the number of fireworks that can go off at a time, though. So it's fixed now, but it can't.
It was a few years ago.
Yeah, they've been in the game for a little while. I don't remember exactly how it went because I've only been playing for about 18 months myself, so I'm still relatively a newbie to some of, as far as a lot of the. I'm under 2,000 hours where I was playing with people, watching people with 10,000 hours, 20,000 hours. So yeah. All right. If we turn around, we'll see a roof here. So we saw this when one of you jumped over it, but if you put a boomer down and then hit the button, anyone can push it. When it goes off, you'll see the projectile here hit the. Yeah, there's a physical projectile that goes. It's not just a visual effect. And that'll hold it down here, and it'll go off right low here in our face. That is possible to use for certain effects.
How
The
high?
projectile is actually like it's actually a rocket that's just shrunken.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
It's literally a rocket.
Yeah, it is.
It's adorable.
Alright, so
It's a mini rocket.
you do the Roman candles, though. You'll notice it goes through. Same with the volcanoes. So something I'll do is I'll put the candles... Sorry, I keep accidentally pushing F. And the volcanoes under stages at shows. And it'll come up right through the stage. Sometimes it's fun to just do it intentionally with the boomer. And you'll see with the champagne one, it spreads it out right around you. And this works for any physical barrier, including players, any objects that get in the path of the projectile. Now watch what happens with the pattern boomer. This is the exact same pattern you just saw over there. Might need to sit back a little bit, but you'll see it hits and it spreads wide, but you only get like the upper half. So it is possible to use that on the pattern boomers too. If you want a really low like message effect or some sort of All right. So up top of each one of these circular platforms, you'll see a nice compact little honeycomb. Now what I usually do is I put one igniter in each of these cells, and it's like the cell, each one of these is going to have its own little nest of fireworks. And the circuits over there control which igniter goes off in which order. That's what they're about. So what you do is you have sets of 4 or 5 different fireworks that you want, each in each little cell, and they each go off with a delay. So you could have a continuous show going on without overloading the server, without putting a lot of overhead or strain on people's games or the server itself. And it just can be as long as you want or short as you want, and usually the entire night cycle used to go for about 10 minutes before they shorten the night. So that's what I went for before. But here we can control through the commands whether it's night or not. So I was going for some super long, I think I got up to 53 minutes on one show, fireworks show doing that. So it is possible to get really long and involved. But usually you don't want to go too long just for people. It's people's attention span. So, but this will run, this circle right here will run about 5 minutes, which is about long enough for most vanilla servers. Make sense so far? Cool, cool. Alright, now for the guts of the matter, let's go back to our little stage. Come on back here, come on. Alright, so over here, this is the method I originally used. It does work now too. They did fix the memory cells, so it is fully functional again. But these are the explanatory diagrams I had for it during the January class. You feel free to take pictures, feel free to examine. These will be up for the remainder of the wipe if you need a refresher. I have used the test generators for power on these for convenience, but you can do this with this design. I was using 2 large batteries powered by solar panels. I would use one on the red line and one on the blue line, because you'll need about 100 rust watts to do a full 10-minute show. But the button down here will give you a quick demonstration of how it works, including the igniters here on the back. So you'll see it in action. It relies on a switch on the memory cell which controls between the signal blue and green. Blue is a pulse signal controlled by the timer here, which is set to 1 second. And the counters back here will count the seconds, and you tell the counters when to go off. And usually what I do is I tell the first one 1 second, so it's the first one to go off, and then I add 12 seconds to each one after that. So you have a good 12-second delay, so that even if you have 5 fireworks in each cell, by the time the 5th one starts, the first one is finishing. So it doesn't do more than 20 fireworks at a time. So it doesn't get to the limit, just in case someone else is setting off some fireworks. So that way you can have a continuous stream of fireworks. So go ahead, push the button. You'll see it in action. You'll see it switches the light to blue. The lights are mostly there for testing purposes. They aren't necessary. The igniter will go off. As soon as it hits 13, the second one will start. And then at 25, the third one will start. Then at 37, the fourth one will start. And it will just keep going like this. And one of the drawbacks to this method here is that all the igniters will just keep going through the entire run until you push the button. Or I forgot I built in the auto reset here. This little counter here will tell it to shut off. And basically what you're controlling with the button, or with an RF transmitter, which is also another method for controlling it, is whether the power flows through the green line or the blue line. The memory cell just switches between the two. The green signal will restart it by sending the signal to the counters here to clear. The blue will send out the pulses which tell them to increment one at a time. And the blockers, not blockers, the branches are all there just to sort out the signals between the individual control circuits. And what you do is just run a line from the top of the counter up to the igniter up top of the roof. I see some people absorbing the moment here. Take a minute to look at it if you want.
So each of these represent an igniter.
Yes.
The
And
lights on the top. Okay.
yeah. You put the lights on the inside of the build so you know they're going off. The igniters are up top where the fireworks are. Make sense? They're just here on the wall too so you can see them in action. Now, last wipe, when I said they nerfed the memory cells, that's the little green one here on the wall over here. What was happening was it was throwing a short circuit error after you put like 8 objects on both sides of the output lines. And what was going on was that meant that I couldn't do more than 7 or 8 total cells using this method. So it basically nerfed it down to very small shows. It could still work, but I couldn't do the larger shows. So, in a fit of frustration, I didn't play that night for the rest of it because I was still setting up my base. I submitted a ticket, and Green Man and Rifle helpfully helped me sort it out. But someone else pointed out that it was done to nerf an exploit. Apparently, people were using the memory cells to self-charge batteries on vanilla servers. I had no idea that could be done. It can't be done anymore, so I don't mind telling you that was an exploit that people used to do. But it no longer functions that way, and then they fixed it by the end of the wipe. But the next day, I set myself to coming up with another way of doing this. And I remembered back in December I was experimenting with a running lights sort of circuit formation, because I started playing with the lighting as much as the fireworks. That includes the neon signs, because some of the neon signs will have 4 total frames they can go switch between. And so I played with that circuit, and that gave rise to this combination over here, which does not use a memory cell. You'll see the timing circuit is gone. It's not even on here. It's all about the individual control circuits. And this can get a little fussy because you do have to worry more about the rust watts. You have to change the rust watts outputs on each one of the branches. And that's what all the scribbles are over here. That's me figuring out exactly what causes them to work. Because you get the wrong rust wattage, it'll fail. It won't signal the next circuit. It'll just stop, or it'll fire them all off at once. So this is a little rudimentary, but this is the exact notes I was taking on a wall on experimenting with this new method last wipe. I just carried them over for this wipe in the backpack. And if we push the button on this one right here, go ahead if you want, you'll see how this one works. It works slightly differently than this one. You don't see a lot of ticking going on. It's a lot simpler because all you have to do is give the exact delay programmed into each timer. Each individual control circuit has its own timer. Each one is set to 12 seconds, so you don't have to do a lot of math adding up 1 second, adding 12 seconds to the last one. And you'll notice that only one igniter is firing off at a time. What I've noticed with this one is that it has a lot less load on the server and the clients as a result, because it's only rendering one igniter at a time. So I've been leaning more toward this method over the old one, but both are valid. Take a moment to look at it, play with it, push the button a couple times if you want. I'm going to alter something here really quick, so don't mind me. Okay, so what I've done is I've switched the control to this RF receiver here. And I have in my hand an RF transmitter. You have to make sure the same frequency set here is set on the handset here. But when you push the button, it starts it going. It sends a signal to the first cell to tell it to go. And you can code this and hide this frequency if you need to from people so they're not watching you stream, see the frequency. Because if you look at my stream right now, you'll see the frequency is very visible. It's 5 megahertz. No big deal. You can change that anytime. Security reasons, I usually use like a complicated code number and then the circuit control number. So yeah, I have my ways. You'll notice too with this one, if you push the signal again, it starts over without clearing the first signal set. It'll just keep going in a chain. If I push it again, it starts again. It just keeps telling it to start, and each one tells the next in series to go. Alright. So, you'll see around my workshop here some panels where I'm experimenting with circuits. Oh, I forgot to show you this one. This one's interesting because you can actually use the architecture of the... you can use the architecture to control the angle of fireworks. This is what we call the fan. I did have some help developing some of this, so Andy and some others were showing me some of these tricks. I'm as much like showing you a catalog of tricks that I've learned from others as much as my own work. Alright, push that button over there and you'll see what happens when these go off. Now, watch up to the sky and you'll see it's called the fan because you can actually mount these things on the bottom of the roof tiles. Not the middle, but the bottom. For some reason, it only mounts the fireworks down low where it intersects the roof floor space. But you can put them on the ramps. You can put the igniters on the ramps or the roof, anywhere on the roof tiles. And that gave rise to this next configuration here, which is very interesting. Alright, push the button. This is what we call the crown. Oops. This is one of my favorites because people really love it. But when you do this with pattern boomers, this is where you get this effect. Because the pattern boomers will orient to the perspective of the viewer, no matter where in the sky they land. So you get this. Right. So as you can see, it takes a little bit of thought and planning, but you can actually do some pretty amazing things with fireworks in Rust without a lot of experience or a lot of knowledge of the electronics. You pretty much just have to copy paste those circuits over there, and they're pretty much cookie cutter. They're very similar. And from there you can actually develop other circuits. And over here I was playing with the running lights and the scoring system and stuff. This one actually, someone asked me about a scoring system circuit here, and this is pretty much the first method here. Blue team, red team, and they sort of score by pushing the button. But when you get to the I know I'm kind of all over the place showing you things, but it just shows where the circuits can be applied. It blocks. Yeah, that was just the green one there reset, but if the red team here, for example, hits the third time and wins, it'll block the blue team's scoreboard. That way, if they hit it close to the same time, there won't be both lit up. It gives a clear winner. But you'll see from the counters that that's pretty much the same circuits as the first method I showed you, but slightly tweaked. Now over here, you'll see the second method applied to a running light system. As long as this switch is on, when you push this button, they will just go in loops over and over again, signaling each other in the circle. This could be applied to lights outside your base. This could be applied to the oh, we lost someone. To the neon lights, if you have those. And you can reset the
Pendulum sound made her fall asleep.
I guess. It is rather soothing, right?
Yes, it is.
You'll notice if you come around to the
Sitting here getting
I
very sleepy.
apologize for
Yeah.
sleeping in class. I just
sleeping in class, that's where
Yay.
didn't catch too much sleep last night, so.
It's okay. It happens.
But I'm here. I'll focus on the class.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
post
sorry.
I'll post the VOD later on my Twitch and YouTube. So
Thank you.
yeah, if you go around the back of the wall, you don't hear that clicking as much. The sound actually gets blocked. So that's why I put a lot of the It's one of the many reasons I put the electronics inside the buildings.
Amazing.
That and your client isn't rendering it, so it reduces the overhead on you. So that's very helpful to know. So some of the rules I use for when I structure these shows is I keep the audience space about 10 foundations back from the electronics. I keep the electronics hidden inside the buildings, so it's not rendering and causing lag on the individual clients. Because I was using a older laptop when I first started, and I really had to think about my frame rates. I was getting maybe 20 FPS in normal Rust play, and I was getting like single digits when I was running around my own base with all these electronics running. So it could get a pretty heavy load on older machines especially, but any machines, even the newer ones, will experience some level of FPS drop during these shows unless you take certain precautions, because there's a lot going on. The electronics in Rust are highly developed, and I don't think they were meant for this volume of stuff necessarily, but the complexity is probably more what Facepunch was going for. You can use it to control automation and all kinds of things with it. So, farming applications, pumps, and there's even a way to control switches using smart switches from the Rust Plus app on your phone, whether or not you're logged in. So I have started shows with that Rust Plus app from my phone too. There's a lot you can do with the electronics in this game, is the point. Not just fireworks, but that has been my focus, so this is what the focus of the class is. Alright, so for the next step, I've shown you some things. I've shown you what you can do with it. I've shown you 2 methods to create fireworks shows. If you see this barrel over here, if you look inside, you'll see all the tools you'll need if you want to set up a fireworks circuit. You want to try it in one of these circular bases. If you want to just play with the electrical work, if you have a particular project on your base you'd like to experiment with a method to solve, I can help talk you through that. If you want to try setting up fireworks, that's okay too. That's what I did in January. Was I had everybody come in and set up a tower, and then we set off an entire show using other people's circuits. Yeah, feel free to take. There's plenty more. If I run out, I will refresh it. Let me just reset all this. This is where we get to the hands-on part. Let me get myself sorted here. Everyone has TC access? Everyone who wants to play? Yep. Alright. So I have these blank panels here if you have a particular project you want to work on or have questions about a problem you have to solve. If you go inside any of these, you'll see a nice little blank tower. And it's not too hard to set up the fireworks. You just sort of start with your power source. You're gonna go with a one branch to control your well, whichever control method you want to use. You'll need, of course, the root combiners to add power, because each one of these little outputs on the test generators, and these are the test generators are purchasable in the shop on this server. They're not normally available on vanilla. You'd have to use regular batteries. And usually I color code the wires to let me know which the purpose is. I use red for main power, blue of course for signaling, green for reset, clear, that kind of thing. And that helps me follow the flow of the signals and wires and the power. And you can control the color of the wires by holding R while you're holding this wire tool. In case you didn't know. So you're going to go and you'll look now at the top of this, instead of 100, it's now 200. And that's more than sufficient for either one of these circuits in this size of a build. Now you're going to route this to your branch, and that'll give you 2 rust watts coming out of one side and the rest coming out the other. This is where you'll add either your button or your RF receiver. You can put that up by the front here. And usually I put like either the green or blue wire through there. For the second method I use green. You go branch out and then just sort of go into the RF receiver, and then it has a yeah, let me get the light going on so you can see better. You'll have a power out here, and that'll go to your first circuit. Now for the circuits themselves, with this build there are exactly 18 cells above us. So you'll start with your lights if you want to use them for diagnostic purposes. I usually go red because that's what... Yeah, and the industrial wall lights are their own pack too, but I believe you can use anything, any kind of lights. You just gotta keep aware of how many watts they're going to use. And then you sort of go around. I usually orient them vertically so the red arrow is up with the R key, and then I can go... And you kind of try to shoot for 4 or 5 per panel. You can go less, you can go more, whatever you're comfortable with. It is possible to compact these very tightly. But usually, to just keep it neat, I go for like 4. Yeah, I've already got the spacing a little wonky, but that's okay. It's okay. You can always fix it by pulling out your hammer and pulling it up. How many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you want it to self-reset, you want to go 1 more than the number of cells you have up top. Actually, on this one, it self-resets automatically, so I don't know why I did that. For the first method, it does need its own signal. Did I misplace my hammer? There it is. Okay. Okay, so now we're at 18. Yeah. So you'll... Usually I go high and work my way down low so that I can space things out, keep things neat, keep things organized, that kind of stuff. I need blockers, I need timers, that's what I need. Okay, timers. you'll see when you place these objects, there's a blue arrows for input and red arrows for output. The branches have 2 red arrows up top, so I try to align the right arrow toward the base of the light. That's your third branch. Go slightly lower so that the top goes between the 2 little dots for the second one. And then you're going to want your blocker. Do the same thing, just line the top edge between the 2 little dots, and there you go. This is the part that gets a little tedious because you're doing a lot of the same thing kind of like over and over again, but once you get the rhythm, it starts to go kind of faster. You only have to do this setup once. That's the beauty of that. I'm only going to go this far since I don't want to bore you all, but then you do the timer. This is... I usually put it like underneath this upper branch. Yeah, you got it. And then, it's okay, keep going. Play with it, you're here to learn. You got this one, I'll align the left arrow underneath the timer. And that's your basic, that's your basic placement for the, the second method components. With the first method, you're going to go from the lights. Hold on. Hold on. Forgot I got auto loot on the some of the components. And then you'll put your counter underneath the light so that the red arrow is pointed directly into the middle of it. And then you'll have your 3 signal branches. Power, clear, increment. Keep accidentally hitting F, but my fingers are slightly off. Align the left arrow to the counter, and then just step down halfway each time. And once you get the rhythm going, it's easy to remember that. But that's everyone has their own way of doing things. This is just mine. You don't have to do it this way. If you figure out a better way, people already have. You can easily compact this down to just a line. If you're not worried about the wires looking as neat or visible as I usually do. You can do the same thing with the other method here. You can just sort of go in a line. Yeah, a little better than that, but you can actually get it pretty tight if you just sink the arrows halfway in to the previous object. You just have to get it really close when you're wiring it, because the wiring tool will get a little confused when the connection points are very close. So it is possible to do this very tightly. And the first thing I usually hook up is the power, which is our red lines. And you'll go from the power out of this one down to here. Okay, if I could stop turning off my light, that'd be great. And then if you just want to go quick, you just go from power out to in on each one. And then you got to set your rust watts. For this one, it's going to be 5. And for that, you'll look at the branch and you'll hit E, because it'll give you the prompt to configure. You'll type in the number and then hit set. And make sure you do it for each one. And then for this circuit, you're going to take the branch out up to the timer. And if you hit the power into it first, a red light will come on. It defaults to 10 seconds, but if you can't alter it when it's on green. If you you'll give the set time prompt when it doesn't have any power, and you can just sort of set your time really quick then before you wire it up sometimes. But if you do wire it up first, you're going to want to hold down E, and then it'll give you the prompt to set the time. Okay, so this is where this method gets a little wonky, because you are setting the rust watts on each of the branches, and the wiring, it has to be this exact connection pattern, otherwise it doesn't work. I've tried it the other way, it's kind of weird. But you go from the timer to the second branch. This is going to be the slightly lower one, like this. And then you're going to set it to 2 rust watts lower than the first one, which in this case is 3. Alright, from here, you want to switch... Okay, what part?
You said one needs to be 2 less, but I didn't know which...
Okay. Okay, so... This one down here on the bottom is your main power. And this will be 5 for a single igniter and your light up top. So, and then you want to go 2 less for this one here in the middle.
Can
You see the...
point?
Yeah, hold on.
If you hold B, can you point?
So 3 here? Then?
I don't know if that helps. Yeah.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, so 3 in this case. Yeah, if you have multiple igniters, you gotta do some math. But with just one at a time, which is what I'm showing you now, it's just 5, 3, and then it's gonna be 1 for the last one. And the rust watts have to be a particular way, or this method won't work, so it takes a little more thought with that. But once you get it set up and working, you can just walk away from it and just worry about the
The first one, the first branch is 5, no matter how many we have.
No.
Every single one will be 5.
No matter how many of each of these circuits you have, yes, each one will be 5. Each one takes 5 rust watts from the main power source. And but if you have multiple igniters, you're going to have to add to that. But for now, we're just doing 1 igniter. We're assuming 1 igniter on top for now. Okay? Once you get the basic idea in your head, yeah. Yeah. So the wiring from the second branch here gets a little weird. You do the main power actually from the branch out to the last branch. And you set this one to 1 rust watt. And it's helpful when you're first starting out just to do each step on every circuit one at a time, like an assembly line, until you get familiar with it and it becomes a little more rote. But once you learn it, it's going to come real easily. You won't even think about it. So I have to think about explaining the steps here. So now you got all your branches set up like that. And then what you want to do is switch your color over to blue, in my case, for the connection to the blocker. And so I go from the power out of this second one to the side of the blocker. That's the signal block pass-through, is what it's going to say when you're looking at it. It's a little hard to see, so you can kind of see it a little better there. It's a little twisted around, but it goes to the side. It might make more sense to go the other way, but for some reason it doesn't work. I've tried it. I don't know why. Oh, if you do the egg hunt, go ahead. We'll resume when that's done.
Eggs, eggs.
Get the eggs!
So many.
Aim
Yeah.
To the middle, aim to the middle.
Egg.
And they'll be on top of the roof of the buildings too, so watch out. I should have gotten more ladders.
Does anyone need a basket?
I would love a basket.
Our goal is...
Come to me, come to me.
Please. Thank
Toss
you.
2 out.
Yeah, we're here to have fun, so yeah, this is one of the events in the game. Go ahead. I'm putting ladders up just in case.
Center.
Give me a movement break.
Okay, they are spawning on top of the buildings, so they'll use the ladders to get up there if you need to. Yeah, with this many people crowded in this little space, they're just gonna be everywhere.
Where you look, by the way.
Yeah. Is that what it is? Because I looked up top, they're spawning on the roof?
Heck you, Zero.
Oh, look at you, Gump. Zero, you were right on his heels. Yeah. Good job, good job. That's what we're here for, right? Yeah.
Comeback season, comeback season.
there's just a few there.
Oh.
Nope, your inventory is full. Thank.
I love a nighttime egg hunt.
Alright. Anyone need a snack break, potty break, any of that before we continue? Just realized we've been at it for over an hour already. Alright. So from here, I usually switch to green. And we go from the branch out of the top branch over, down to the bottom of the blocker. This starts your signal to the next set. You go from the top, down, and to the toggle on the side of the timer. And I forgot to do the power to the light. That's just, you know, your power coded wire, in this case red. From the power out of the top blocker, branch I mean, not blocker, top branch, to the light. I know it's a lot, but it is repetitive, so once you get it down for one, you can just repeat the pattern to the next and the next. As many as you do. And if you did it right, as soon as you hit this first signal, I did something wrong. I think I just didn't hook it up. So yeah, this first RF receiver goes to the toggle on of the first timer in order to start the process. That's easy to forget. But once you signal from the a pulse from the RF receiver, it should start this series. And each one signal each other one after another. Oh, something went wrong. Usually when it does this little skip, it means I set the rust watts wrong somewhere. Yeah, the bottom one here is only at 1 instead of 5. So that's what happened. So we just changed this to 5. And we try again. This is the part where you just keep checking. This is why the lights are here, so you're not setting off a whole bunch of expensive boom. Because fireworks do cost a lot of resources, and which is more of a concern in vanilla servers than it is on here, but people will come flocking to fireworks when they see it. Which is a good thing. It's something that catches a lot of attention. The fireworks can be seen for 5 or 6 or more grids away, so. I see a new follow from Cutie Fox. Thank you. 1 hour ago, unfortunately. Yeah, I was kind of focused on the class. Alright, I see that you've wired on, and it's not catching onto that chain for some reason. I'll leave you to figure it out if you like. You can ask me when to look at it when you're ready. Oh, you want me to look? I'll see if I can figure it out.
Which one's wrong? This one here?
Yeah, let me try again. It might be right and I just wasn't paying attention. Let's make sure. Because it looks right.
I don't think you connected. I think you connected blocker.
I think it's right. This wasn't connected here. Is that will that make it?
That might do it. Yeah, this method has a few extra ways to go wrong, even though it ends up being a little easier on the FPS. Oh, look, it did. It took it.
Did that make it work?
It looks like it.
This blocker's throwing me a little with
Oh,
it
okay.
wired through the top and bottom, but I know there's
Yeah.
only in and out, so it makes sense eventually, but it threw me for a second.
Yeah, when you can't see the wires as well, it does make it a little harder to see the paths that the signals are taking. Yeah, with the first method I showed you, it is a lot more complicated just in the timing circuit. The timing circuit is the key to it. And with that, you start with your power source. And then usually you combined... Usually with these test generators, you combine the first two into one combiner. And then you have your first... And I like to put them sideways to keep them sorted. Your first branch here. And like the other method, you start with your control, which in this case is an RF antenna. And so you'll see it starts off pretty much the same. And then I like to switch to blue for the signal circuit. You'll take your branch out. You don't need to worry about changing the rust watts on the branch. To your antenna. And then next you'll want your memory cell. Which is the green one. And what you'll do is you'll take the signal from the antenna, bring it back, and connect it to, there's 3 connection points on the side of the memory cell. One set, one reset, and one toggle. And you'll connect the signal, whether it's a button or antenna, to the toggle. you'll connect the power out from your first branch to the power in of the memory cell. So the lights come on. You'll see a red and a green. And you'll see power when you hover over with your electrical tool come out of the inverted output when the first light is red. And that's the default setting, which is your green signal, which is the clear signal to the counters. And when you hit the button, you'll notice that it changes the first light to green, and your power now comes out of the regular output on the memory cell. So what you're controlling here at this point is whether the power goes through one output or the other on the memory cell. This can be useful for a host of other things. That's basically how the memory cells work. It just says the power it's getting goes through one branch or the other. And what you'll do is you'll go to another branch. I like to rotate them so they point in different ways. This one's pointed backwards. And this continues your blue signal, your counter signal, from the output, not the inverted output, the output of the memory cell, to the input of that branch. And again, you don't need to alter the Rust Watt setting on this branch. Next, you'll slap down your timer. You'll set that to 1 second. And then you have your third branch up top. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I had to think about this. It's been a while since I wired this up. Now, as far as keeping track of the signals, I usually use the lights. This is just to help you keep track and to see it working for troubleshooting purposes. Your power will go just...
The color order for the lights.
The color order for lights, red up top, then green, then blue. And you'll see why in a second. This is why I do it this way. Red you'll take from the combiner up and then straight over to the light. It'll stay on pretty much all the time, but that lets you know you have your power. Switch to green and go from the inverted output of the memory cell, directly to the green light. That's your clear signal. Now for the time pulse, you'll go... Why am I thinking so hard about this? Hold on. You'll do the power out to the timer. Alright, I'm having a brain fart, so give me a second to look up my notes. Okay. So what I did wrong was I forgot my blocker. I put the blocker next to the timer. And then I take the branch out from the second branch to the bottom of the blocker. I take the top output of the blocker and take it to the toggle on of the timer. I take the timer output to the third branch. I take the branch out from the third branch and I bring it back to the block pass-through signal of the blocker. Then, finally, I take the power out from the third branch, and that is our pulse or increment counter signal. So the timing circuit gets a little weird, but you don't have to worry about how many rust watts are going through each branch. But once you get it set up, you can check this stage by turning it on, and it should just run these 1-second pulses constantly if you did it right. What you see is it's working. When you hit it again, it goes back to green, and that signals the clear. And like I said, you go and then there's your light, and then you just do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then these are your control circuits. And right now, all you're doing is routing one of these 3 signals. Okay. I need to wake up because I forgot the counters. So let's start over. You put the counters under the lights. I've done that new method so many times, I've just forgot about the counters. And then you want to line up the branch out on the left to the center of the counter. And then you want to just go down like I did before, just this time 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now the top one of these 3 is the power. And that's going to supply power to the light and whatever igniters are past the light. So you're going to that's the only one you have to set in this model. And it's got to be at least 3. And then you run your red signal, which is your power. It helps to go back and use the correct color. And then branch out to the counter and counter to light. Take your power out. I like to go down and over and back up. And then branch out to the counter, power out from the counter to the light. Ta-da! You just keep doing that for as many cells as you got. Next we do the green signal. Because you'll notice on the counter, the clear reset counter input is on the bottom of this row on the side of the right. You change your wire tool color to green. And there's your clear counter signal. And you do the same thing with the blue. And you don't have to worry about changing the rust watts on these two. Yeah, I did that kind of fast, but if you did this right, you can go back to your counters, set your times. This is where you do the heavy math on this method. Because what you're doing is starting off at 1 and adding 12 seconds to each one. 1, 25, 37, 49, 61, on up. And if you did it right, they should count for you. And then each one will turn on in series. I don't have a automatic reset plugged into this one, so you have to push the button again to stop it. And that sends the clear signal. I know that's a lot, but this is what the diagrams back there are showing you. Everyone will have their own approach to doing this. As long as these basic approaches are followed, you can rearrange things however you want. Questions? You thoroughly confused at this
I
point?
feel like my brain is going to explode.
Yeah, that's why I'm leaving.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah, but for those who are, it's a lot to think about. It's two different ways of doing the same thing. So don't feel like you have to comprehend it right away. I'm here for the rest of the wipe. I'm going to stay here for a while so people can try it on their own. You can wire up an entire tower if you want, and we can get it working. Because the next step after getting these base circuitry going is just the tedious running the wire from the top of the light up to the top of the roof where you've placed your igniters. And once you get everything set up, you run a couple more checks to make sure it's working, and then we can throw some fireworks on it. But once the main setup with the wiring is done, the most tedious part is just jumping around between the cells, placing the fireworks you want to use. Which, with the very large builds, I think with what I had 1,019 back in January at a time, and that took me 2 hours to set up all the cones. That's after I spent a good... It would have been much longer because 6 people did the wiring on 6 of the towers. So that saved me some work. I did one of them, and then I had to go back and do the remaining ones. So it only took 3 hours to do the wiring for me, since most of it was done. And that's including checking to make sure everything's working. Because I'm weird, I will check, double check, triple check to make sure it all works before I start loading in the fireworks. You see over here we've got the generators running. You'll notice outside I use batteries and solar panels for some of the setups too. It's basically in vanilla, it's large batteries and solar panels to power everything. And in vanilla you're going to want to use a little extra, so 6 solar panels for 1 large battery gives it 120 rust watts, and when it can only take 100 at a time, and the reason you do too much is because there's a little bit of a loss. It's 80%. Only 80% of the power coming into the battery is kept by it. That's a mechanic that's kind of glossed over a little bit. It kind of tells you when you place the battery, if you look at the description. but most people don't take that into consideration. Oh, look at you over here. The diagrams and everything are going to stay up for the rest of the wipe. If you catch me online, I will answer questions. So the next bit of the class is pretty much hands-on. If you feel like wiring up a tower yourself to try to get the hang of it and ask me to help you troubleshoot it if there's something goes wrong, I'm going to stay here for a while. If you have other questions, other wiring and electrical questions, like simple stuff, whether it's just lighting or anything else, I don't care how simple it is. If it's giving you grief and you want to know, I will stick around and help you figure that out too. That's why I have all these extra little walls and everything, so we can just... Yeah, thank you. Not necessary, but thank you. And the primary focus has been fireworks, but I'm pretty good at most electrical issues. I can at least figure it out. I don't mind helping you if you need help later on too. Give me a holler in chat if I'm on. If you have something specific now you want me to go over, there's plenty of parts, and if there's not enough parts, it's like, yeah. So I have this set up as a workshop so that we can play with electrical systems together too. So feel free. If you have any questions, now's the time. If you want to play with something, go to in the workshop. You all have TC access.
So can I come back and try to do it tomorrow?
Yes, of course. This will.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I will leave everyone authorized on the TC, so you can come back and just use this workshop as much as you want. Set a teleport point here. If you want to come back quickly, you should be able to do that. Just /home space add / yeah.
I'm gonna choose
Yeah. Yeah.
helper for myself.
Yeah. You're all welcome here anytime during the wipe.
Wrong.
What's wrong?
'Cause
What?
How did the timer go again? It's supposed to
my
stop way
timer's on
before
1, but I
100.
think all 3 went at once. Maybe not.
I want a purple.
Yeah, if you don't set the counters, they default at 10, and they will all be set to 10. So if you just sort of...
I've kicked you out already. All right.
What should they be set to again?
For fireworks, I do the first one at 1 second, and then I add 12 seconds to each one after that. So 1, add 12 to be 13, add 12 to 25. That way you're separating out each cell by 12 seconds to give the server time to adjust. So it's not setting off everything at
First
once.
one would be 13, then it would be 20.
Yeah, so... It's whatever math works. The guy I learned it from just went 12, 24, 36, just kept it simple. So there was a 12-second delay on the first one. I went to 1,
Ooh.
and then I added 12, because I don't mind odd numbers.
So I did 13, 26, 39. Is that?
Yeah, that works. You'll get that delay before the first one goes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So only add 12, not 13 necessarily.
yeah. The point is to separate the cells going off so you're not setting off 80 fireworks at once.
Yeah, I'm too tired to try
Got
to
it.
do it.
Yeah.
Too much.
Me too. I need to go to sleep.
I'm yawning here. Are we still on for next week?
now.
Yeah, I've abused your brains for almost 2 hours.
Would you do 0 or 1 on the first one?
You can't do 0, so I would
You
do
want
1,
it to be
yeah.
Instantaneous?
Yeah, you do 1.
Because that would give you a 12-second delay, right? Okay.
Yeah, you do 1, 13, 25,
So I
yeah.
just ended up doing a temp server all in
So I've always wanted to. I do like escape rooms and stuff, and I've always wanted to do like a timed activity where they could actually see the counter.
Yeah.
Seeing this, you could probably set up a counter that would then, like, at the end of it, it would remove power from whatever activity or game they're playing,
Let's move on.
and then
Yes.
push the button again to attempt it again for 60 seconds or for however long. Okay.
Yeah, so what you would do for that is you'd use your blocker and you'd run some power to it. I'm just gonna borrow from power over here.
Use this one if you, or I can. I have another
Yeah.
generator that someone gave me.
Now the blocker just sends power through unless it gets a signal on the block pass-throughs. So what you would do is you would send the signal from your timer. Okay, I'm gonna borrow from mine. I'm gonna put this last one over, and you'd put it in the side. So with my circuit over here, after 37 seconds, it'll shut off that light.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll see that the timer here, if you just pay attention to the last one, and they may not know when it's going to stop, but the timer will keep going, but the power over here will get cut off as soon as it gets the signal. I guess it was 25, but yeah, and then as soon as you reset it, the power comes back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what the blockers are
One
for.
of the things you notice is that all the lights slowly turn on up
Yeah.
the top as the timer goes on and on and on.
Yes, with this second method that doesn't use the timer circuit, it just one at a time, but you get the other one, it just slowly turns on. So it could be like slowly fill, and you can move these lights so they're like a bar filling up from the top or something like that. So, and you can use different colors, so it's like red, and then it goes to,
Sick.
yeah. Or it could go green, green,
Yeah, 'cause
blue,
in the
green,
past
red.
We've done like, I mean, we use a lot of like conveyor belts and like filter pass and filter fail for like unlocking the next door for escape rooms and stuff. So like,
Yeah.
and I know that when they complete each room, we have like usually like one it was a Ouija board that letters lit up, and the other one was a Christmas tree that sections of the light lit up. Like we could do fireworks, like, and it could be like a filler bar then, like what you're saying, like kind of like a thermometer
Yeah.
of their completion, and every time they complete it could launch a firework.
Yeah, you could totally do that.
Or even at the end too.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm loving all of this. This is really cool.
Yeah.
Gives me lots of ideas.
Good. That's what we're here for. I like to teach my methods of doing things because I don't like to hoard information. I think that I learn from other people's perspectives too. So I like to see what other people do with this and learn from that. And I've seen a few different methods, and it's taught me a lot of things from it. And it's helped me adjust my methods and approaches.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I like to teach, this is how I do things. Now that you know that, figure out what your way of doing the same thing is, and then show me, because it could be better. It could be a way I never thought of doing it. Quite often
For
is.
sure.
Because everyone has completely different experiences through lives, different perspectives, and different ways of looking at the same problem. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, what you would literally do is just put one igniter in each one of these cells, and then go back and forth and just run a wire to the top of the circuits. Did I lose most people after all that talk? Oh, wallpaper, nice. Yes, that is a
Easter basket. I was thinking about putting like a tree here.
nice.
Or
You could
like
totally
maybe
do
a
that.
hobo. Something for light.
Oh, yeah. I never tried the wallpaper before, but someone did show me that you can put all these circuits on the wallpapers, and you can make it like look real nice. and different wallpapers can probably give you
For
like,
me, it takes out some of the noise.
yeah.
That makes sense. It's easier to focus on just the I guess I could do something like this so it's even easier.
Oh yeah, if that helps you, go for it.
But I kind of like that.
I kind of use the lines to help me figure out spacing, but different people think different ways and people see things different ways. So yeah.
One of the questions I had during the class that I didn't ask was, are there other methods of like turning on fireworks? Like, do flamethrowers work?
Oh yes.
Can you hand like a player a flamethrower?
Yes, flamethrowers, the torches, if they're lit, you can just whack it with a torch. And I found that incendiary ammo will also do it. Yeah.
Oh, like
I'm
Yeah.
excited about that too. That's gonna be
Fire arrows will do it. Incendiary ammo will do it. Exactly. See?
look at that.
Yeah. Any flame source, Molotovs will do it.
Okay, you said torches will do it.
Yes. You basically hold it, light it, and then
Place one.
whack it. You gotta hit it, and it's not 100%.
I'm gonna test mine out.
It's breaking it.
Yes, that is a danger. You will eventually destroy it.
Here, you do it.
Okay, okay. Me?
Wait, oh,
I need to press the button.
You like here.
yeah, come here.
It's a
Come here.
receiver.
Come up here.
Oh,
I have
you
the
mean like a
RF.
torch, like
I
what
have
you
it, I have
saw?
it on me.
Yeah, torch. Sorry.
Like
The number.
not the
I-
other word for flashlight.
Yeah, I forget sometimes that culturally a torch is a flashlight, and over the EU especially.
Yeah, folks call it different.
Alright, let's see it.
Yeah. But you just whack it with one of these torches, the flame torches. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Where'd it go?
Oh.
Oh,
the cloud is really bright. Is it just me, or is it taking a very long time? Or is it just? I think it's the cloud that's blocking it.
I
It's so-
wonder if there's some more ways of lighting them that I haven't thought of.
Volcano? What's
I'm sure there is.
I wonder if you could use a fireplace or like a campfire. I don't know. It's interesting.
Those two leftovers, and then I did a smiley face.
Oh, yo.
do the volcano? I don't know. It's like
Flamethrower totally will work.
Like it's spoken like a
That's a
vampire.
creepy ass smiley face.
So what was volcano all about?
That's me. We had a volcano on our island or something. Wasn't it like some sort of eruption? I don't even know.
Wow, Amarda?
Yeah. Well, we made it. That's cool. Now we can make
Yeah, I'm
fireworks.
excited about this.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do like a lot of things.
And of course, incendiary ammo works.
Triggers and timers and counters. It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah.